Welcome to the Avatar Slang podcast, your ultimate go-to for fiction, fandom, and nerd culture, where they collide politics, society, and everything in between. Before we dive in, follow the podcast on Spotify or your favorite platform so you never miss an episode. If you watch it on YouTube, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Sharing, reviewing, and spreading the word helps the podcast grow. For more nerdy content, follow me on TikTok and Instagram at avatar.slang. That's avatar.slang. Today I'm going to talk about Daredevil Born Again Season 1. So, to me, the tone of Daredevil Born Again felt surprisingly true to the original series, which is a big deal, and I'll get into that a little later, because we were, as Daredevil fans, we were a little worried, but we'll get to that part later. The biggest shift for me is that Matt and his crew, they're not broke millennials trying through life anymore. He's got money now. He's part of a successful firm. But he's still carrying a lot of internal weight. Those moral and emotional struggles are still there, and honestly, they still hit hard but in a different way. Even without the material struggles of the past, Matt's internal battles still feel heavy and ever present. And honestly, I like that. So I like the fact that we got to see the true character, because to me, who you really are sometimes shows when things are tough. Things were tough for Matt, and he still has a heart of gold. Same with Foggy and Karen. It's nice to see that they're all mostly the same, even with their financial growth. Now, is it Netflix gritty or more MCU light? Honestly, it's neither. It's not like the early MCU. It's pretty much true to the original tone. To me, the original Daredevil and the newer version, the sequel series Born Again, it's like an MCU series, but adds some prestige drama vibes. So it's like something you expect from the Penguin on Max. And if anything, both shows are pulling from the same types of sources, like classic prestige TV, like The Sopranos, The Wire. Opening scene with Bullseye, that brought me great joy immediately. Like, Daredevil has always been one of my favorite live action drama shows, especially when we're talking about action forward series like Game of Thrones. So seeing them fight right out the gate was great for me, and I needed it to be that way. I saw on Instagram that it was from the showrunner, either one of the showrunners or the producers. He said that the opening scene is supposed to be way different. It's supposed to be Daredevil just being upset and giving up his suit without all that lead up to him wanting to get up the suit, and I don't think that works the same. It wouldn't have been terrible, but I think seeing it go down this way is the best turnout. So that opening scene with, you know what, I'm not going to keep this spoiler free, so this is basically the spoiler alert, so I'm going to get really into it. So back to what I was saying, I think that him losing Foggy in the beginning, I think that's a great reason to give the suit up. Like, that's his best friend. That's too much for him to handle. It makes total sense. He wants to change the world around him, but he's going to do it through other means. And while we're talking about him doing it through other means, I'm going to talk about some of my favorite scenes and correlate that in a second. So a few moments that stuck with me: Matt and Fisk and Wilson Fisk's conversation at the diner. I purposely called on Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk because at this point, Wilson Fisk is running for mayor. And as we know, he was going to do that because if you watch the end of Echo, that was the post-credit scene. So Wilson Fisk is trying not to be Kingpin anymore. He wants to change the world around him through politics. And this conversation at the diner shows how both characters have dualities. So Wilson Fisk, to the outside world, to those who aren't suspecting, he's just a wealthy man who donates his money to causes. Matt Murdock, he's a well-established lawyer now. So there's two guys, rivals. They have dual identities. They use those dual identities to carry out whatever goals they have. So Matt's goal is to help people. He helps people via being a vigilante and by being a lawyer. Now, Wilson Fisk, I think he's a narcissist, so bear with me. But he says he's trying to make New York better. by being the mayor, and I think he actually believes that in some way. And as Kingpin, I think he's just greedy. He might say he's trying to do things and have order. No. But at the same time, both of those roles help each other. So Wilson Fisk so we see at the diner, it's interesting that they come together because they both come together while ditching their alter egos. The dialogue at the diner I thought was really good. It reminded me of what I missed about the original show. So the diner, so I like the scene because the diner was neutral ground. So it's a public neutral space. To me, it serves as a symbolic demilitarized zone where both characters can lay low their hypothetical weapons, both lyrical and metaphorical. So this setting allows for a candid exchange, highlighting their complex relationship built on mutual respect. Now, let me stop there though. I disagree with Daredevil having this mutual respect with him. I get it. You're done with that life. But Wilson Fisk still, he's a local terrorist. Like, he basically used to, like, in the first season, he bombed that woman's kitchen. I wish I remember her name right now. He was killing people, and he's fine with killing innocents too. So, like, nah. Like, this man went over to Maya's family on Echo, and he's fine with taking hostage and stuff. He's not a good person, Matt. Like, that's my thing with Matt. He's just too good sometimes, but I'll get into that a little more. Both of them, you know, like I said a little earlier, they grapple with their dual identities. Matt's a lawyer. Fisk is a public official and a crime lord, even though he's trying to convince himself he's not. This conversation underscores the duality, revealing how each man's public persona masks a darker, more complex inner life. This mirrors their similarities, even though they stand on opposing sides. Like, Daredevil's a good guy in the typical sense, and Wilson Fisk isn't. But the irony here is that Wilson Fisk, aka Kingpin, demands that Daredevil doesn't pick up the suit again. Now, the issue with that, well, I guess it's not an issue, but it's just ironic that Wilson Fisk is the bad guy. He's the villain. Like, he's like, it just is what it is. He's a villain. But he's trying to act like vigilantes are the villain. And as we see later in the season, he's going to tell not the American public, but the New York City public that vigilantes are the problems. Now, I didn't know this on my own, but after doing some research, people on Reddit were saying that this scene draws inspiration from the iconic diner scene in Heat. If you listen to my stuff, I'm still one of those people, I didn't watch Heat yet. Every time I turn it on, I fall asleep. But so be nice to me. The encounter in Heat is showcased two adversaries who, despite their differences, share a unique understanding of each other's worlds. Their dialogue is laced with like veiled threats and acknowledgments of each other's skills. It reflects a relationship that is much about obsession, about opposition. So I didn't know that, but Heat is considered by all my film friends and the film community to be one of the best films ever. One day I'll watch it and I'll break it down, but Heat came out before I was a movie guy, so I was still at the Space Jam and those kid movies when Heat came out. I think, when did Heat come out? Let me look that up real quick. A little segue, but I need to know now. 1995. Yeah, I was 4. I wasn't watching Heat. Just the way the scene was shot was pretty cool. The director employs specific camera angles and perspectives to reinforce the character's psychological states. Positioning Fisk closer to the camera amplifies his imposing presence, while the confined space of the booth accentuates the intensity of their exchange. I'm not the biggest cinematography guy, but that I did pick up on. And this sets the stage for future conflict. So, and to wrap that part up, I didn't mean to spend this much time on that scene, but I just needed to tell y'all how much I loved it. So, in essence, to me, the diner scene's a masterclass in storytelling, using dialogue, setting, and performance to explore this, I guess you could call it like a dance, but it is kind of a like mental dance between two of these rivals. Now, some other moments I liked. I love when Hector, aka White Tiger, took the stand and he was talking about doing what's right. I enjoyed that scene a lot. I enjoyed every single scene Frank Castle, aka the Punisher, was in. His dialogue was sharp, low-key philosophical, and it was just blunt. His chemistry with Matt is on point as it was before in the Netflix version. The moment that hit unexpectedly, though, was Leroy Bradford. He was the black guy arrested for stealing, I think it was caramel corn. Basically stole from the bodega. It was like a snack. At first, I was kind of annoyed. I'm like, is Marvel about to do the black guy who stole for no reason thing just because? And then like he didn't really care that he stole. He was really like rude to Matt, as if Matt's not there to help him. The way Matt talks to him is layered. So at first, Matt has no patience for what appears to be stupidity. But later we realize his presence isn't about the theft. We come to find out that his silliness was for his deep hurt about the situation. It's about what pushed him there. Basically, he feels stuck in a vicious cycle. And as someone who works in education, I understand when people act out, sometimes there's a deeper reason there. He feels like he's stuck in the system, like he's in the food stamp system and there's all these stipulations and he doesn't know how to get out. It just highlights how broken the system can be for people like Leroy, and how Daredevil isn't just about fists and kicks. It's about him seeing people who feel invisible. You know what? That's low-key deep, because a blind man is seeing all these people that society kind of looks over. Now, to me, the pacing felt right, not too fast. My only issue, like I said earlier, Matt's too good of a guy. Like, my limit is like Peter Parker. You know what? No, because I don't see Peter will be tripping like this. I think he has the potential to, but in this case, Daredevil, it's just annoying. I'll be like, I'm not gonna break Peter Parker into this, because like, what was that? And I think it was episode 7. Why did he take a bullet for Kingpin? Like, the guy's gonna snipe him. He should just let that happen. Like, it's kind of like a FU to all his Kingpin's victims. If you don't want to be someone who kills people, I totally get that. That is fine. But taking a bullet for Kingpin? That's a stretch for even the most heroic version of Daredevil. Kingpin blew up apartments. He killed Ben. He gave corrupt cops a green light. You can end all of that, because the way the show goes, more people are going to die. That moment didn't feel right to me. Or maybe it's consistent with his character, but I don't know. He could be like Batman on Batman Begins. He didn't kill Liam Neeson's character, but he ain't save him either. Another issue I had was the fight with Muse. Matt struggled with Muse more than I expected, especially considering this is the same Daredevil who fought off ninjas and held his own against Bullseye in the past. Muse doing that much damage off of a little Taekwondo training felt off to me. Remember, when he was in therapy with, I can't remember her name right now, but Daredevil's girlfriend, the therapist, he was like, well, I studied a little Taekwondo. What? That's not a good enough reason he was able to hold his own with Daredevil. So, I mean, still entertaining, but that ain't work for me. I feel like maybe Muse was meant to have more airtime, but with the reshoots, that editing was a little wonky. So it's okay. Like, it wasn't bad. I mean, the overall product wasn't bad, but Muse being that good of a fighter didn't work for me. The show started off like a spiritual successor, but you can tell Marvel wasn't really trying to continue the Netflix story. Foggy and Karen were barely involved initially. They weren't even supposed to be in it at first. Vanessa, if you were following the show in early production, she was recast. Punisher almost didn't show up because John Bernthal didn't like what they're doing with the character. So I think they were trying to wash away the old Netflix version and make this like total remake, not like a sequel, just a total remake and just have the same casting. But shout out to Marvel for realizing their mistake and pivoting. You can feel the edits trying to honor the old series once they got feedback. So to me, the final product is a sequel series, not a remake. I could say that Muse was underused and mishandled. Maybe not mishandled, but he was a little underused. I wasn't really a fan of that part, but I get it because I do like the idea of having a show being a serial, which is, a show that has a long-standing storyline for a whole season, and also having villain of the week elements in it, because that's how it works. Superheroes have big problems and small problems. So yeah, I'm fine with that. I just didn't like the way it was executed. I've seen people online say that Cold North was done dirty too. I haven't read the comics he was in, but I get it. They didn't like that he was just a dirty cop. I guess in the comics they have more nuance, and his story arc is very beloved by people who read Daredevil. Now, I'm not really a Marvel reader. I used to keep up with the storylines, but I fell behind. To me, the continuity is all about continuity because it has the same continuity from the 60s, whereas DC and others, the continuity resets a lot. But yeah, let's talk about some performances. Charlie Cox, still the GOAT. He was a perfect casting for the Netflix version and still killing it as our favorite blind lawyer on the Disney Plus sequel. Still menacing, still nuanced, still sadistic. Arguably one of the best villain portrayals in the MCU. Kamar de los Reyes as White Tiger was a standout for me. Rest in peace to him. I wish we got more from him, whether it was in Marvel or anything else. I could tell he's going to be great in any roles he would have taken after this. John Bernthal as Punisher. To me, it's a perfect casting. Like, some people say he's too angry. You wouldn't be if your family was killed? Like, no, relax. His dialogue's top tier. That character's in good hands. I can't wait for the one shot. I think it's a one shot. It's a special. I don't know if it's a one shot, but we definitely have a special coming up, I think in 2026. Beyond the action and character arcs, this season really has something to say. The themes were layered and timely to me. Like, it's very interesting how there's themes in it that correlate to what's happening in the White House now. So this scene tackles multiple themes. The first one I'm going to talk about is moral complexity. The show deep into ethic dilemmas of being a vigilante. It constantly pushes the question, where's the line between justice and vengeance? Is killing an evil person really that bad? And that shows when Punisher again has these debates with Matt. He calls him Red. I love that he just calls him Red. Now, where do I stand on that? I think if I was a superhero, I probably would be more like Punisher. No, I'm lying. I'd be more like Daredevil, but someone like Fisk, I think you just gotta take him out. Like, you just do. Legacy and identity. I think that's a big theme in this too. Matt's struggle with being both a lawyer and Daredevil isn't just surface level. It speaks to a tug of war. It's an internal tug of war between what he wants for himself and what the world demands of him. I think Kingpin, to an extent, has that issue too. You see that internal struggle because he gives up the suit because of Foggy, but then at the same time, it's like he put on that suit because of people who went through these things before. But he's a person, so maybe he just broke and he's telling himself he hung up the suit for Foggy. Power and corruption is another theme, and I'll be honest, that's what's going on in America. I could be simple and say it's because of Trump and Musk, but we've had corrupt politicians for a while now. I think Trump and Musk they're just the faces of who this country has been. So I'm gonna hold Trump and Elon accountable for what they're doing, but Trump is just what this country has been for decades. And so, okay, I'm gonna tell y'all how I feel. I'm gonna break this Fisk thing down to y'all, then I'm gonna correlate to Trump in a second. So Fisk's rise to political power shows how people in these positions don't always care about the people they swear to serve, and how they twist authority for selfish gain. So Fisk he's using this task force, he's using the cops for his gain, so he can be a drug kingpin, or I don't know if he's selling drugs or weapons, but whatever. He wants to do illegal activities in this Let me look up. I forgot the name of the place. He wanted to revive Red Hook. So, but he really was doing that just so he can do. So basically the pier has unique status as a historical free port. So it's exempt from standard custom duties and legal oversight. Basically, he wants to do things unchecked. Who does that sound like? Exactly. He wants to be able to launder vast sums of money under the guise of legitimate commerce. I don't know why I said it like that. And that's why he wants to do this Red Hook port revitalization project. He's presenting as an urban renewal effort, but he just wants to use it to do his dirt. Now, to protect his interests, Fisk's wife, Vanessa, orchestrates the murder of Foggy Nelson. Actually, I ain't gonna lie to you. When I first watched that part, I didn't really understand that, but I get it now. As I'm saying it, I get it now. So, I'm sorry, y'all, that I'm talking in circles, but this is why I need Matt not to save Kingpin from sniper bullets. Because this is too much. This is too much. Like, he feels bad for this super duper rich guy who don't give a damn about these people. And it's like, at some point, when you going to put these people before Kingpin? Like, come on. But yeah, I'm good with this way the season ended. It's the first time in Daredevil where the hero didn't resolve the season-long issue by the end of the season. And I'm totally good with that. Like, I mean, this is probably a hard problem to solve in one season, to be honest. On the way to the finale, he has some wins, but the season-long problem is definitely going to continue to season 2, and I'll be there watching. I have a feeling with more consistency and a better vision for season 2 will be much, much better. Like, there's a chance that the army that Karen alluded to will consist of the Defenders. I'm probably in the minority, but I think Iron Fist is a character that can be saved. But that's a combo for another day. So this version is I would say that this version of Daredevil is for everybody because there's callbacks to the original series, but the callbacks don't really push the plot that much. You could argue that it doesn't push the plot at all, but it's just nice to have the continuity. So if you're new to Daredevil, I would definitely watch the original series first, then check out Born Again. Like, you won't regret it. So if you made it this far, please drop a comment with your favorite scene or character moment and let me know what you think season 2 should explore. Like, subscribe, and join the Slang gang for more content like this. If you want to support the channel directly, you can hit me up at buymeacoffee.com/avatarslang. It helps fuel the future reviews and keep the content coming. Thank you.